Kenya itainuka, Kenya itasimama, Kenya itanawiri kwa umoja na uzalendo. Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo. Je, wewe? Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo daima. Today we come to you live from Lake Naivasha Resort to discuss matters education with various key stakeholders from our universities, colleges, our basic primary, secondary, and other institutions. We've been here and we continue to advance the theme of Madaraka Day, which is education for all, and we have been having very good engagements with none other than the president, vice chancellors of universities, and even we've already had our last episode with PS Inyangala, PS Bitok, and we continue to do it. But before we proceed, I am going to issue a statement that is concerning the Africa Forward Summit, which is a separate segmentation of the same. The Africa Forward Summit, which is going to be held on 11th and 12th of May 2026, Nairobi, is a high-level platform bringing together Africa and French heads of states, global institutions, and private sector leaders to advance a renewed partnership focused on innovation, investment, and sustainable growth. We already had the briefing with 15 ministers this week with the Prime Cabinet Secretary. And this Africa Forward Summit is happening for the first time outside the Francophonie, the former French, French-speaking countries, the French-speaking countries in Africa. It reflects a shift towards a more balanced, Africa-led partnership model grounded on mutual benefit and effective multilateralism. Held in the run-up to France's G7 presidency in June 2026, which our president is representing Africa upon his invitation by Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, who will be visiting the country. The summit provides a strategic opportunity to elevate Africa priorities within global economic governance and position Kenya as a key actor in shaping development, financing, and partnership framework. In fact, the president of Kenya has said it very categorically that for Kenya to succeed, Africa must succeed. So he commits 60% of the time in Kenya, but also 40% to resolve African issues. That is why he's a champion for reform for the AU and also the chair of the panel for infrastructural development in Africa. He has become a global voice for African matters. And some of the issues that are going to be discussed in this summit include the reform of the international financial architecture, climate green financing, and there are several agreements that are going to be signed in matters energy, in terms of communication, in terms of infrastructure, roads, railway, and all of that. So you'll be seeing a lot of that going forward. The structure and scope of the summit is structured around 5 complementary events. Number 1, we shall have a civil society forum, a pavilion for creation and social innovation that will take place on 10th May 2026. Number 2, we shall also have a business forum, Africa Forward, Inspire and Connect, 11th May 2026, focused on strengthening Africa-France economic partnership through networking, investment, promotion, and showcasing private sector innovations across key sectors. Then we shall have parallel events, that is 11th May. First one is sports session, promoting sport as a platform for partnership, investment, and job creation. And here we are not looking at sports as a recreation. We are looking at commercial sports. And so we shall be looking at that. The president of CAF will be coming also. So we know very well that we are hosting AFCON in 2027. Next year we already paid all our dues, $30 million in counting. We shall also have a cultural event showcasing creative industries, culminating in the Africa Forward concert, 12th May 2026 at Kasarani Stadium. And we have very key international musicians like Fally Ipupa. They are going to be there. So vijana, mchangamke, hiyo siku ni yenu. Na kila mtu Mkenya will also have that. Also, we shall have a specific youth event focused on employability digital innovation, AI, and youth positioning globally. So my youth pia, mujitokeze, that is your day. We shall have events at the University of Nairobi, so please come forward so that we can do that. The other thing that we're also going to have as a parallel event is a ministerial meeting on peace and security, dialogue on UN Security Council reform, and use of the veto power. One of the things that the president has spoken very strongly, you cannot have a UN Security Council that does not represent Africa. We are using the 1945 architecture. We must reform the representation of the UN Security Council, which deals, most of the issues that we deal with are actually African matters. Then, of course, we shall also have the summit of the heads of states and government, 12th of May. The summit will have discussions with and they will be organized around 7 thematic areas through plenary and roundtable sessions. Let me go through that very quickly. The plenary sessions, we shall have the green industrialization and energy transition, advancing investment in Africa's green industrial future. Very, very important. We know one of the frameworks that has actually, is before cabinet is how to do the climate financing, the whole architecture around that. Number 2 is global financial architecture reforms, enhance access to sustainable financing, risk mitigation, and African representation. For example, the cost of financing in Africa is many more times than other jurisdictions. So this is something that we need to address so that we deal with the issue of public debt and sovereign debt. Then we have peace and security, strengthening Africa-led solutions and multilateral cooperation in a changing global context. We shall also have roundtable on blue economy, maritime governance, job creation, and sustainable transport, agriculture, sustainable value chains, food security, and agri-investment, artificial intelligence and digital transformation. There's already even a bill that is being discussed in the Kenyan Parliament, digital infrastructure, innovation, ecosystems, and skills development, so that we can reform Africa, going forward. Then you'll also have another roundtable on health, local manufacturing, technology transfer, and strengthened health systems. You know very well one of the key things that we promised when we took over this government is that we shall have pharmaceuticals manufacturing here in Kenya. So far, what is the participation status? We have a total of 55 confirmations have been received. Heads of states and government, 30 of them. So we have 30 presidents, who are coming from Botswana, Burundi, Chad, Comoros, Republic of Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, Djibouti, Congo DRC, Egypt, Eswatini, the Prime Minister, Gabon, Ghana, Guinea-Conakry, Lesotho, Libya, Madagascar, Mauritius, Mauritania, Morocco, the Prime Minister will be coming, Mozambique, Nigeria, President Tinubu will be here, Rwanda, Senegal, Seychelles, Sierra Leone, Somalia, Tanzania, the Prime Minister will be here, Togo, Tunisia, the Prime Minister will also be here, and Zambia. We shall also have one Vice President from Equatorial Guinea, and then ministers from 5 countries, Angola, Benin, Malawi, Uganda, Zimbabwe. Ambassadors, we shall have one from Algeria, and also we have international organizations and regional organizations, the African Union Commission. The chair of the African Union Commission will be here. We shall have Africa Development Bank, the IMF, IBRO, IFAO, Western African Development Bank, UNEP, GCF, La Francophonie, which is an association of all French-speaking countries in Africa and beyond, AFCOFTA, which is our free trade area, and the Aga Khan Foundation. We also have other expectations of confirmations from Central African Republic, Gabon, Liberia, South Sudan, Cameroon, and ECOWAS, Economic Commission for West African region. What are the expected outcomes? Adoption of a Nairobi Declaration on Africa-France partnership alongside investment mobilization, progress on global finance reforms, and initiatives in energy, digital agriculture, and health with focus on youth and innovation. What are the opportunities for Kenya? This conference, this summit, positions Kenya to shape continental priorities, strengthen global partnerships, influence the G7 processes, and attract investments in key sectors. The summit advances equitable partnerships and Africa's global role while reinforcing Kenya's leadership and investment appeal. And already, just to highlight some few of the key partnerships, in Kenya, for example, we are going to make sure that we have some administrative agreements, especially on tourism. There is something that we need to work on that. Declaration of intent between the government of the Republic of Kenya and the government of the French Republic on issues to do with the blue economy and fisheries. Also, we have a statement of intent, a draft MOU, on issues to do with energy, particularly to enable collaboration to facilitate and encourage cooperation in the peaceful uses of nuclear energy. So we are looking at that. As you may be aware, we are putting up a nuclear plant in Siaya starting March next year, and we hope the people of Kilifi can also accept we have another one, because that one in Siaya will give us 1,000 megawatts, so that we enhance our energy towards 10,000 capacity. We are very happy because of the geothermal increment, 750 megawatts recently. That project is ongoing so that we can have as many people as possible getting into the grid and also powering our development. Also, we have some few commercial contracts on the issue of Kenya Airways, the use of biofuel from animal fat, very, very interesting. We also have the Masinga Dam, raising program, because it has actually been overflowing. It had risen up to 41 centimeters, and people had to be evacuated. So there is a review of that. And of course, there is the issue of a project to support Kenya's digital, transformation under the Ministry of ICT, and also modernization of our weather, meteorological, services, and also a venture towards developing, financing, and managing operation of new container terminal capacities at the Mombasa port. Remember, we had the CEO of KPA here, Captain William Ruto, and he said that we are not privatizing the port, we are just becoming a landlord port. So one of the modernization programs we'll work with the French, because we require a lot of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. And of course, we also have private companies that are also dealing with these matters with regard to the issue of KPLC on issues of energy. We also have the issue of refinery, as I said, between Ruby's Energy and Kenya Airways, with regards to matters to do with how do you get biofuels, and offtake of many other opportunities. So it's both public and private, and so therefore we welcome all of Kenyans to follow very clearly. This summit is important because it is ahead of the G7 summit, and it's good that Kenya is now the one that is rallying the African voice to be represented in a very, 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 privileged space within the G7, which G7, for those who may not know, it actually means the greatest 7 economies in the world. And we are extremely excited that Kenya, being the 3rd largest economy in sub-Saharan Africa, the 6th largest in Africa, is taking a lead in having our voices heard. And this is Semana Spokes, Bonga na Gava. Kenya itainuka, Kenya itasimama, Kenya itanawiri kwa umoja na uzalendo. Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo. Je, wewe? Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo daima. Thank you very much.